Trace Adkins was a hugely popular country singer and actor. He was beloved by his many fans. But then everything came crashing down for him when news of his crazy $20 million divorce started spreading. Everyone found out who Trace really was behind the scene, from his drinking issues to his cheating scandals. And you guys won't believe the crazy truth about Trace's divorce. According to reports on the situation, Trace's divorce battle with his ex-wife Rhonda Forlaw included some intense allegations. Rhonda accused Trace of being a bad partner, specifically by falling off the wagon and also having affairs with other women during their marriage. Trace has had a well-documented life of struggling with drinking. Early on in his career, he would regularly play in bars and challenge other people to drink more than he was capable of. Eventually, his friends and family had to step in, and Trace even agreed to go to rehab. He later shared his story about addiction and recovery, hoping it would resonate with fans and maybe change someone's life who didn't yet know help was out there. And this was why Rhonda's accusations that Trace was still drinking were so shocking to fans of his cleaned-up image. Trace has moved on since his divorce from Rhonda. He's been married to actress Victoria Pratt since 2019, but that doesn't change the fact that he's been accused of cheating with a bunch of different women while he was still married to his ex-wife. Trace and Rhonda officially settled their divorce back in June 2015. Rhonda filed for divorce in 2014, citing irreconcilable differences as the primary reason for needing to separate. They've been married since 1997, and they have 3 daughters together. Trace and Rhonda seem to at least agree on one thing, and that was that their children's interests and well-being were what was most important. But that was pretty much the only thing they agreed on, because the rest of their divorce battle was nothing short of a war. Trace was accused of being out of control when it came to his relationship with adult beverages. Despite the fact that he spent multiple stints in rehab, going back as far as 2002, addiction is a complicated thing, and it seems like he just couldn't help himself. Rhonda also accused Trace of getting a little too close to Victoria, his now wife. Back in 2014, it was reported that Rhonda and Trace were engaged in a $20 million court battle. Apparently, Trace was going around bragging about the countless women he had been with, and he also seemed to think his out-of-control relationship with adult beverages was something to be proud of. He also talked about a fantasy love affair with a beautiful Canadian actress, Victoria, but it was actually something that Victoria said that pushed Rhonda over the edge. A string of steamy tweets from Victoria that were about Trace absolutely infuriated Rhonda, who had long been struggling to deal with Trace behind closed doors. But suddenly, the cracks in the relationship were on display for the world to see. That, along with Trace being unwilling to grow out of his bad boy persona, forced her hand in calling it quits with their marriage. Like so many addicts whose actions suddenly catch up with them, Trace desperately wanted to win Rhonda back. But who knows if he even really wanted her, or if he was just worried what this kind of thing would look like on his otherwise very clean reputation with country music fans. Trace had in fact fallen off the wagon after 12 years of sobriety, but he was adamant that he could turn things around. He quit drinking, started attending meetings with AA, and was telling friends that the only thing he wanted was to get his family back together. Trace's actions were good, but it was too late. Ultimately, the only person you can ever really get sober for is yourself. Rhonda saw through Trace's desperate attempts to keep her in his life. She was fed up with him, and their marriage was officially over. Rhonda made the ultimate decision to file for divorce after she got a world-shattering confession out of Trace. Though she had her suspicions, she couldn't prove anything until Trace came clean about Victoria. Trace revealed that he had fallen for her while they were shooting the movie The Virginian together, but he later confessed a whole lot more. Trace bragged to a friend that he had been unfaithful to Rhonda on plenty of occasions with roughly a dozen women. That's so sad and gross. He even bragged that he had been intimate with 2 women in a single day before coming home and getting in the same bed as Rhonda. That's absolutely disgusting, and he should be ashamed of himself. But Trace just kept running his mouth to anyone who would listen. He bragged that during his time filming The Celebrity Apprentice, he got a very interesting offer from his co-star Omarosa. He claimed that Omarosa offered to be intimate with him at least 100 times, and that Carol Alt propositioned him as well. This all sounds pathetic, and I don't believe any of it really happened. These sound like the drunken ramblings of a delusional addict. Rhonda was understandably humiliated by it all, and when Trace said that he had fallen in love with Victoria, she just about lost it. Victoria became something of a running fantasy for Trace, and he constantly talked about how much he loved her and wanted to be with her. To make things even worse, Rhonda was informed that Trace would compare his time in the bedroom with Rhonda to fantasies of what it might be like with Victoria. And Victoria's hands weren't clean in this either. At the time, she was married to Hollywood director T.J. Scott, but that didn't stop her from attending the Stagecoach Music Festival with Trace. Victoria was contacted back in 2015 to comment, but she promptly hung up the phone as soon as Trace's name was mentioned. What's also crazy is that Trace's alleged friend supposedly gave Rhonda all the inside information she needed to finalize her divorce. It might seem weird for friends to do this behind your back, but a real friend would know that staying in a marriage when you're behaving so badly will only make things worse. And the best thing to do for both of them was to sever ties and move on, even if that was both painful and expensive. A source close to the divorce shed some light on what was really happening that the public couldn't see. They said that Rhonda had to put up with Trace's cheating, harm, and general bad behavior for many years, so you honestly can't blame her for going so hard on the divorce. Trace really put her through so much, and I can't blame her for just being completely done with him. What do you guys think? Was it okay for Trace's friend to give Rhonda all that information? What are your thoughts on the whole messy divorce? What do you think about Victoria's role in all of it? Let me know in the comments below.